Welcome to my program Bashy's Corner. We discuss issues which normally mainstream media doesn't want, doesn't care, or maybe is just unwilling. But we dare to take those kind of societal issues. If one relies on the media to know what Denmark is or what Danes are, you will see two pictures. Either it is a land of milk and honey, where the happiest people on the earth live, or it's a land of xenophobes, Islamophobes, and who treat asylum seekers, immigrants, ethnic minorities in the worst possible manner. But as we all know, the reality lies in between somewhere. While various governments have been very negative towards ethnic minorities, the public mostly has been very beautiful. And they have really helped many asylum seekers and ethnic minorities. They have opened their hearts, their houses, and they have even opened their pocket to welcome many asylum seekers. One such wonderful person is my guest today. He has been involved in many projects to make life a bit pleasant for asylum seekers and for refugees who are running away to save their lives from hotspots in the world. Welcome to my program, Morten.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure of having you here. I have heard about your house for many, many years, but it's the first time we are having you here. So once again, I'm happy to talk to you. You're a very admired person. I have made my research, and a lot of people admire you for being a protector of human rights of asylum seekers. You do a lot of campaigns, especially your work with asylum seekers. Have you always been like that, or it just came about?
Thank you for the kind words, but I have to say that it wasn't always like that.
Okay.
Actually, our original concern was for the Danish democracy.
Okay.
And I think this concern is still our driving force today. And that is why we need the foreigners, the asylum seekers, to help us save the Danish democracy.
Very noble thought. So, this soft corner is because you and also others want to keep the Danish democracy as it has always been looked at in the world, Denmark as what you call exemplary country. But it has changed now.
Yeah, I think it's very easy not to be racist if you are not introduced to any black people
Yes.
as a white person.
Yes, white middle class person.
Yeah. If you are black, it's the same, just reversed, of course.
Okay.
After 6 years in Trampolinhuset, I know that racism is something that happens in all cultures. Mm. There is so much racism going on in Afghanistan as there is in Denmark as well.
Okay. But isn't there is a difference between prejudices, when people have prejudices against other people, and then very organized racism?
Yes, of course. There can be racism which is supported by a government.
Exactly.
And of course, that is the toughest situations. I do feel that we are getting closer to this in Denmark because we have decided, we become used to the fact that we can keep part of the population in camps. And then, of course, the excuse is that, well, they're not really part of the legal population. Mm-hmm. But if you have people who have been here for 5 years, at some point you have to admit that they have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So if you want to solve a problem, you have to look at the definition.
Exactly. When did you get involved in this work?
Actually, what really put me online was when we had the Mohammed crisis.
The cartoon crisis.
The cartoon crisis, yes.
Okay.
I think in 2005.
It started 2005, yes, in September.
Because I was an artist at that time.
Okay.
And I realized that, to me, the public realm, the public space where art is supposed to be interpreted and seen and read. This public space had been infested by this absolute freedom of speech, which was destroying actually the ability to communicate in a way which is useful, because the way they were defending freedom of speech was actually destroying the potential for communication. And when this happened, I realized we have to stop talking, we have to start doing, right? And Trampolinhuset is a place of practical encounters, it's a place of doing.
If we talk a little bit about this very important and sensitive issue of freedom of speech, I agree with you very much that freedom of speech is very necessary for every democratic society, but there is something which many Danes and many Europeans forget, is the sense of responsibility. What do you want to use this freedom of speech and freedom of expression? If it is used to demonize other people, then it doesn't remain, then it becomes prejudice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I understand, as you also said, that you are a former student of Royal Danish Academy of Fine Arts. Have you worked in that branch?
Yes, I was doing paintings for almost 20 years.
But that was your private thing?
A private thing?
You mean you were painting privately or working for...
I was a professional artist selling paintings.
Okay.
Yeah, living from selling paintings.
Really?
Yeah.
So you must be extremely good.
Well, I thought I was very good.
Okay.
And I'm still very proud of the paintings.
Sure.
But of course...
So for painting to completely different thing, which is working, or you opened this Trampolinhuset in 2010.
Yeah. Well, the reason was that when you communicate through painting, your audience necessarily have to be the ones that can buy a painting. And this is a certain class of people. And I was interested in social change, so I realized that it would be very hard to change the world through the painting, because only a certain kind of people would see those paintings and buy them.
Yeah.
And it was like I was communicating to the wrong segment. Whereas in Trampolinhuset we communicate with people who are at the bottom of society, and this is where change has to come from.
But those people who are on the top of society, among them there are also some good people who give a lot of money to charities and support initiatives like yours.
Absolutely. We also rely on their support, and we're very happy to speak to anybody. But it's just a fact that if you want social change, you have to look at where the problems are, and the people who are encountering the problems, they have to be let in the solution-making process.
So when you started Trampolinhuset, not only you and your partner, but also you had asylum seeker, you had people of different background who all came together. How did it happen?
Well, it happened the way that me and Tony and an artist called Joachim Hamu, we went together and formed this workshop that we took to the asylum centers. And we invited art students to go to the centers, and then we invited people from the camps as experts. We told them, we are here to learn from you. And this is what I said in the beginning, I wanted to save democracy. I didn't want to save asylum seekers. We need the asylum seekers to save us.
So you're using them?
I'm using them, yes.
Okay.
And I think
that's not a nice thing.
But they're also using me, because they need the network that they can get from me. So I think let's give up charity. This is like one big problem in Denmark, is that there's way too much charity in our relations. To be needing each other is not evil. It's part of being a member in society. We all need each other.
So you don't look at them, asylum seeker, hey, you little Sambu, I want to help you.
Exactly, that's the big problem, because you victimize people. We tried that in the beginning of the history of the house.
It didn't work.
It didn't work, because I wanted democracy. And I realized that the more I handed out tickets for free, like transportation from the camps, we were covering that. We still cover that, but since we didn't ask for anything in return, it was seen as charity. And if I'm sitting at a desk with a lot of money just handing out for nothing, then it's charity. And you could feel instantly that that actually I was only doing this to feel good. This is how it was perceived.
By them who were getting.
Yeah, by the people who were receiving. And that nobody wants to be in the receiving end of a charity relation. It's humiliating, right? So this way you prevent them from being equals with yourself, and that's why democracy fails. So we need to get on a level with each other, so that we can exert what we call in the house mutual respect, which is unconditional.
Okay.
Because democracy cannot be based on anything else.
But Morten, even we say, fine, we do it for democracy, to save democracy, but to have a movement or to have a house or to have an initiative, you need to have people who run it, those people who are leading it. I mean, you are director of that house, So democracy also has, certain steps that you have to have some people who are doing things.
Yes, and we do not have a perfect democracy in Trampolinhuset. Okay. So. I mean, in the beginning we thought we don't want leadership, because we want to have meetings every week where everybody can speak up and we decide together. It's consensus democracy. A little like in the dream of the Christiania, same kind of organization. But we soon realized that it was chaos, and that the dangerous part of those kinds of institutions that have no hierarchy, they do have hierarchy, but it's not visible. So very soon I realized I'm telling people I'm not the leader, but through knowledge I have power.
Yes.
And it's better to be transparent. It's better to explain I'm the director because I work here 60 days a week. Exactly. And I'm a nice guy.
Yeah. And also people respect that when they see that you're doing something good, that you're...
Yeah.
Now the question comes, the big question, why was it necessary in a democratic society like Denmark to have a house like yours?
Well, I think when society, all democracies fail, but it's the least, or how do you say, Churchill said it's the best solutions of all the bad solutions that we have on ruling, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And all democracies, they need to constantly be self-reflexive. They need to look into, could we do it better? Is there a process that goes wrong? Why is it that politicians are so hated today? Why does it happen, this separation between politicians and people, the voters? And for this process to work, we need strong communities of grassroots that come together and discuss things so that they can inform the politicians. Because this information is crucial for the politicians to understand the world.
But Denmark has, for example, Red Cross, Danish Refugee Council. They have all kind of institutions which help asylum seekers. For example, if we look at that, asylum seekers and refugees, what is they don't have, what is that you are offering?
They don't have democracy.
It's only about democracy.
They have charity.
Yeah, okay.
And there's a big difference, because along with charity comes the concept of stick and carrot. Politicians, they talk about stick and carrot. How should we rule the people? Should we use stick or should we use carrot? What I'm saying is that they fail to believe in the power of democracy.
And power of people also.
Yeah, the power of people. If we sit down and discuss things in a deep level, then we will come to a consensus, and then we will understand the mission. Yes. You could call it understanding the social contract, for instance. Politicians also constantly talk about the social contract, why we pay taxes and why we have free education and how these things are connected. They want people to understand that. They want to buy into it. And they use stick and carrot to hurt people towards that direction. We are saying...
To stay in power.
Yeah, we are saying if we believe in democracy and believe in this fertile exchange, which is the communication in the house meeting, for instance, at Trampolinhuset, then people start to get the dream that we are walking towards. And then you don't have to hurt them. They walk.
Yeah. They walk along.
They walk along by their own powers because they have empowerment. They help to produce the goal.
And they feel that they are part of it.
Exactly.
Then why you call it trampoline house? Why not find some very nice catchy name, which is self-explanatory? Because when I tell people trampoline, so what is that? Somebody you hop up and down?
Well, if you look twice, you might find that it's a very self-explanatory name.
Okay. That you have to be a
It
philosopher.
comes from, it was actually the asylum seekers in the first workshops who decided this name.
Wow.
And the idea is that, when people talk about integration, it's been mentioned that integration is to somehow walk into society. And what we're saying is that at this point in time, we need more than just a path to walk. We need a trampoline. So it's a jump start into the Danish society.
That's very beautiful. Well, it is claimed that Denmark has a state that is very well functioning. It has system, it has refugee camps. Then what, as I said before, but you are an activist place. So you must be providing something they are not providing. Why didn't they think of that?
Well, the thing is, one big issue is the charity issue.
Okay.
Because if you look at the Danish asylum system, the Red Cross is doing a wonderful job. They have camps that are like Rolls Royces if you compare to the camps in Italy. But the problem is that you don't know how long you're going to stay there. And if you stay longer in a camp than 6 months, then it's like by the experience of Red Cross themselves that people start to go crazy. It's the top floor that is not provided for in the asylum camps.
Only body, but not...
Only they provide for your bodily needs. Like, if you look at the Maslow pyramid, they take all what's in the big, broad downstairs, but up here, nothing. And that's why people go crazy. And some go crazy in 3 months, some do it in 1 year, most do it. There's a few that you cannot kill this way.
So what kind of activities you offer that will help them to use their head?
First of all, we want to introduce the house meeting, which is this place of debate and discussion where people can help contributing to the house.
Okay.
And where they also we can reach some kind of common idea about what it means to have unconditional mutual respect, and for people to understand the idea that we actually need them in order to create this house. Then we have every day when the house is open, there will always be food. So we have people who have a contract that they should produce the meal, and we have people who do the dishes. We have people who do the cleaning. We have people who work in the health department. We have doctors from, most of them come from Bispebjerg and Rigshospitalet, who volunteer.
Volunteers.
Yep, and we have lawyers who give advice. Some of the best lawyers in the country come and offer free advice in the...
So that was my next question, that because there are a lot of asylum seekers who come to your house, do you also provide asylum seeker legal advice, help them in practical way to get asylum?
Yes, that's a very big part of it. When we first met the asylum seekers in the first workshops, we asked them what are the problems, and they told us after a week of talking, they told us the problems are poverty, isolation, and mental paralysis.
Wow.
These three are the big curses of the asylum system. Now, we were naive artists without not much knowledge.
Okay.
So we decided that we had to park the poverty, because how can we solve that? We're not rich and we have no access to jobs for all these people. And they are not allowed to work anyway. So we parked the poverty and we said we will work with isolation and mental paralysis. And that's why we created the Trampoline House, where it's a social space. You can get friends, you can get network, and you can get counseling.
Do many Danes also come there, apart from those people who use that, asylum seeker, refugees, minorities? Also, normal public comes there.
It's always been the core mission of the house that it should be a place where Danes meet asylum seekers. And this is why, at this point, we have 60 asylum seekers on contract in the house. Okay. They come 2 days a week, and one day maybe they work in the kitchen, and next day they'll do a Danish class. So they have different activities. And then, of course, they can take part in all the social activities that are alongside.
And from how many different countries do they come?
They come from Iran, Afghanistan, Syria, of course, Eritrea, and a lot of African countries like Uganda, Congo, Ghana.
And among them, there are professional people also, engineers, doctors, and artists, because you have many projects in the house, you know, about arts projects, you know. What has art to do with asylum seekers?
You know, we offer activities for everybody, and we're not particularly interested in artists. We have had a few artists, but it's no more than you have in a normal population. Okay. So everybody has to flee, and some of them are artists. For me, what is interesting is to create an environment where people of different cultures, but also different classes and different professions, can understand how to communicate with each other. And that's the beauty of a house meeting that actually works. When we have all these people, they have different classes. Some are goat herders from Afghanistan,
of course.
And some are you know, brain surgeons. To make these people find a language which is common. That's actually, like, the class difference is actually stronger than the cultural difference between Iranians and Danes.
So what is common among all these asylum seekers and refugees, apart from that they need asylum?
They're looking for peace, and they're looking for community. They're looking for a place where they can actually produce meaning in their lives, but also produce meaning for others. There's no one I have met who did not want to be part of a community and to contribute. It's the most important part of being a human being, to be allowed to contribute.
True. No, you're right. You're right. Now that the inflow of asylum seeker has receded now, both in Denmark and also in European Union, do you feel that effect on your work also, that there come less people?
You know, I mean, Trampolinhuset has always been too small for all the asylum seekers in Denmark. So we don't really feel less, because we only have room for a fraction.
Yes.
And that fraction will always find the house. So we don't feel like a lower influx in this sense.
I know that many activists don't want to talk politics, but I think you are quite politically oriented. Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic in which direction Denmark is going vis-a-vis asylum, refugees, minorities? I'm quite pessimistic if you look at the way the politicians are turning now.
Okay. Because they are acting on fear and against better knowledge, and they are acting in a populist way, and we're not going to solve the refugee crisis with populism. We're only going to increase the crisis, because the solutions they have, building walls and casting people out, is only going to produce more suffering. And as the walls grow higher, the suffering grows equally higher, and then people will risk anyway.
They will climb anyway.
Yeah.
Do you ever have visit of Danish politicians from different parties, left, right? You know, I don't believe Danish People Party, but other party, do they come and visit?
Actually, we do. Also, we have had visits from Danish People's Party also.
Really?
Yes, and we welcome everybody.
Of course, but do they come?
They do. They've been there at several occasions.
What did they say?
They say, well,
you are doing a good job.
Marie Krarup, she called me.
She came?
Yeah, she came. She called me democracy fundamentalist.
Oh my God. Oh, God.
That was funny. I mean, it's a great moment. She felt that the way I was believing in democracy as a power that can solve the problems of integration, she felt that I was becoming like a democratist, they say Islamism and Islamist. And that was, I thought that was...
Did you ask her for money?
No, no. We just asked for their understanding, and we told them that the problems that they create unnecessarily for the asylum seekers, that it would be smarter if they would back off on some of those. They change the asylum law every 2 months now.
That's true.
That's true. And it's impossible to know what your rights are.
But you are also you were quite close to closing the place. Was it?
That was last January.
Yes,
it's actually going a lot better now.
Okay.
Because we managed.
Then the $1 million question comes: who supports you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big place. There are a lot of activities, food, and warm electricity. Activities. Yeah. Who supports you?
1 year ago, we started a campaign to get normal people to support us with like 100 crowns a year.
Okay.
Oh no, a month, of course.
Okay.
And actually, there's more than 350 people who support us at a monthly basis.
Wow.
This generates 600,000 every year. And we are so grateful. Thanks to everybody who support us. Thank you. Okay. Because this is a kind of money which we can put in places where nobody else wants to pay for.
Okay.
It could be like, if you get support by the government, they will not support counseling.
So I would like to show to our viewers your address, the website, Facebook, so that if people want to contact you, they would absolutely have a possibility to contact you. And I tell you now on camera that I would also like to support you on every month. That we can talk about some other time.
Thank you so much.
But it was a pleasure having you here. And I'm very, at awe to hear and listen to the wonderful work you're doing. And I'm also sure that our viewers have listened to Morten's views and the work he is doing, and together with his friends. Trampoline House should be in every city in Denmark and in Europe. So please give them as much money as you can and take good care of yourself. Until next time.